basically because there are only two things that I know how to do in life. One is deal with cyber crimes, cyber security, and the other is to dance on the stage. And very little awareness or very little knowledge about anything beyond this scope. So when Swamiji asked me to talk on peace and reconciliation as on cyberspace, the only point that I could, or probably just the point that came into my mind was that, there's a lot of difference between justice and law per se. And like how the earlier speaker said, justice is something which will probably bring in peace. And the NGO that we have been working with, or we have called Avanzo Charitable Trust for the last 15 years, we've seen a lot of issues where the youngsters actually feel violated and they take on this space as a pursuit to justice, which actually brings in a point where they are criminals themselves or into an illegal space themselves. So when you talk to them and ask them about the perspectives, they are hurt. They are not at peace. They do not know what to do. So most of the youngsters or little children get onto this space basically to get some kind of a redressal in a language that they know, but they know, they were very sure that the adults around them do not know this language. So with one of the earlier speakers, the retired IPS officer, who said introduction of cyber crimes is also getting into large numbers. Yes, 20 years, I've crossed 20 years in this industry, and 15 years with my firm floating. Every year, this particular menace of cyber crimes infiltrating into every human's life is only increased. Now, if somebody tells me that, it's basically because the criminal attitude has shifted or it has increased, no, it is not because of that. Basically, I wouldn't agree if somebody says the entire civilization today has changed to a very unlivable world. No. My perception is that basically the crimes have shifted from the terrestrial platform to the cyberspace, which means the crime rate is almost equal, if not a little more, where the youngsters are getting into the forte of being criminals. I'm not talking about people being victimized. Probably people being victimized, all of us are victimized in one way or the other. Every day or every walk of our life, every now and then, there's always a possibility that we get victimized. You go to buy a kilo of potatoes, probably you're victimized because somebody decided to charge you 2 rupees extra or probably 20 rupees extra. You go to a supermarket, it might charge you more. So every day there's some kind of a vulnerability that every human being deals with on the perception of being victimized. But the perception of being criminalized is largely increased basically because the youngsters look for a redressal on this platform, a quick redressal. I think the first case that one of the first cases that I dealt with was a child who went up to the social media to get even with his mother. They were at a dinner table where the mother criticized the child and said, he's not learning or he's misbehaving and things like that. The next day what he did is he opened a social media account with the mother's photo and the number saying, this is, anybody can call in for any kind of favors. This is one of my first cases that has come. Now, these kind of issues largely are on a rise now, especially when it comes to a relationship dynamics or when a child is involved in the process, which personally, some time back itself, we came to a conclusion that probably children need to be taught about how to behave on this particular space, rather than being accustomed to using this space. I think all of us just got used to this particular space, using it every now and then for everything. Even we do not know or we are not aware about the pros and cons of this particular situation. It's not that we don't know, probably we do not have that alarm system embedded in us to be alert all the time. If asked questions, yes, we all answer it in 100% surety on the right answer. Like, if you ask whether social media is a public platform, all of us know. If a question is asked, internet is private or public, all of us know it's public. Then what is our private information actually doing on a public place? We have not thought about it. How much of our private information can go on a public place? We have not thought about it. What happens to such information when it goes on a social media or on a public place? We have not thought about it. We do it, and the children replicate in multiple magnitudes. You click one picture, post it online for no reason, they will click 100 pictures and put it online for no reason. Where they are actually communicating or passing on personal information. All of us fly out. The first thing probably most of us do is that go on to the airport and say we checked into this particular airport. And we are flying from this destination to the other destination. As if we will not be on board if this particular information doesn't go on the social media. We are actually giving out a lot of information that for so many hours, our contact number will not be active. For so many hours, our phone will be on a switched off mode where we are not reachable to do any kind of a redressal mechanism. If you look at most of the financial frauds that are happening around us, it is because of this particular lookover that every user has. It is not because the term hacking is actually happening on the technical platform. See, hacking basically, if you ask me, it's an art. It's like singing and dancing. Everybody cannot do it. If somebody asks me to sing, that's going to be the most pathetic situation anybody can ask me, or, as an audience, ask yourself to be too if somebody asks me to sing. It's that big an art when you talk about hacking. Technically, you can upskill anybody who has that kind of a trait in them, but not everybody can hack. But then what happens is that the hacking actually happens to the human brain, where you convince somebody to give out certain information. And certain things that we tend to take it for granted. We have a Gmail account which we have been using for the last 20 years. We never thought it necessary to review that account to find out what are the new avenues. We all change our cars. We all change our phones. But we never understand, or we never take out the time to understand the virtual assets, to evaluate the virtual assets, our contact points, our email IDs, our social media virtual IDs. All of these are our virtual assets. It requires a regular analysis, regular study, and a regular review of how you can maintain it properly. Then when something happens, some wrong happens, especially when you talk about certain kind of bullying that happens online. Some people are body shamed, some people are shamed for the language they use, some people are shamed for the opinions that they actually put out there. When there is some kind of a bullying that happens, the first thing that the bullied person feels is that I am wrong, I can pay back on the same coin for my redressal. Yes, there is an issue with the legal mechanism. Again, there's no problem with the technical mechanism because, see, technology behaves the same way. So we can reach out from the victim to the criminal on the technical platform in any way. But there are a lot of challenges that the jurisdiction or the police or the law enforcement authorities face. There are a lot of jurisdictional issues, like Kerala police to come to Chennai and to even go through our operation. It is impossible. Permissions, cost of investigation. Second is that entire conflict between the jurisdictions. It is not easy, practically not easy. Not again technically, I'm talking about the legal issues and the jurisdictional issues. Imagine if within a country, in a state, within states we have this issue. We have this issue on an international basis within countries. And how many of you all have actually seen this particular web series called Jamtar? I don't know. It is based on a real story because there are villages or even organizations or kind of, I would call it stacked buildings or localities where there are people placed there to actually conduct some kind of organizational crimes. Now, in the recent times, we have heard Cambodian frauds, where Indians are taken to Cambodia or countries like that, placed there to conduct or to actually carry on this act of cybercrimes, basically, to talk to people, to lure people and things like that. But if you actually look at it, the ground reality is that every state has some area or the other. But it's impossible. See, the organized crime sector, which is working out of Tamil Nadu, will not infiltrate people in Tamil Nadu. They will only attack people outside Tamil Nadu. It becomes impossible or very difficult, at least, for the investigation to go on. And like I said, any kind of wrongs that happen to me on this particular space of cybercrimes, I've always found that people try to respond back in the same coin, where they also become or they take part in the illegal activity. Even if you talk about financial frauds, the transfer of money, whether it is done in a legal mechanism or not. Most of the times when clients come up to me and they lose about 86 lakhs. Recently a client came in saying, I lost 86 lakhs to a crime. When we looked at it, only 14 lakhs has been actually transacted on legal mechanism. The rest of the money is completely illegal. The entire transaction is illegal. That I cannot ask my client to go and file a police complaint for 86 lakhs. It is only to 14 lakhs that I can ask them to go and file a complaint. There are a lot of challenges in this way, where most of the people who come in front of us do narrate and they go through this. Very quickly, I have summed up the 8-page note that I created, because I don't want to take a lot of time. I can take questions, if there are any. Yes, sir.
How do we make sure that we can reach this out to people who are very secretive in these second number transactions that you said? Because by nature, this is a number 2 activity. And as you said that you yourself could not ask them to file a complaint. Have you given some thought to this?
Sir, actually, we can't encourage our clients to go and talk about these number 2 activities. It is not possible. So the awareness or the teaching has to go before any kind of an accident. And if this particular awareness and thought process is there, then we don't need to actually address a number 2 activity at all. So I don't know how to reach out to people. They probably, all the organizations, all the infrastructure in totality should come together to create some kind of an awareness, if possible, as young as possible.
Also, I wanted to ask you about what the Prime Minister has been saying, talking in the campaign about concentrating on corruption-free India. Now, without getting into the rhetoric or, the minuses and pluses, do you think we have made some progress in the last few years in that direction?
You're putting me in a very tight spot, sir, because answering this would definitely create some kind of an issue. So being completely away from politics, I would say yes, there are some trial, basically not because there is a political push towards it, but basically probably because all the transactions, 99% of the transactions which common man today carries on is on the digital platform. It's all recorded. So there is a change. I will not say there is no change at all, but probably even the big corruptions that has been happening, it's still going on.
One minute.
Your answer. Madam, thank you.
Madam, you are available for some more time, right?
Yes.
And then we will take further questions later.
Okay.
We will complete the paper.
So I will just leave with a closing remark saying that on the platform of cyberspace, the thought that probably comes to me is, since law and justice are entirely different, every citizen, law-abiding citizen, it's up to us to actually understand what the legalities are, understand the black and white and the grey aspects of law, and live a legal, under the legal perception of life, and leave justice to the larger unperceivable law of nature. Thank you very much.
Actually, every learned speakers in this session they have approached the concept of peace from their own perspective, from police angle, from diplomatic, from historical, and from technology. But my question, it is for you to ponder and think about it. It is rightly said that one of the speaker, unless the peace at mundane level is achieved, how can it be the peace from within? I am running for my material needs. Where is the time for me to find out what for I have born, what is my ultimate goal, how I am going to achieve this ultimate goal of inner peace. Of course, time and again our gurus and our shastras guide us in this. But still the question is there. Unless we have the outer peace, which is always disturbing, on one pretext or other, every day we find, unless this is achieved, how we are going to achieve the inner peace? It's for your contemplation. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I thank the organizer. I thank Guruji, Vishnu Mohan Foundation. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.